In this lesson, we're going to look at line spacing and word spacing. Now, line spacing is the distance between these lines, how far apart the lines are spaced. Word spacing is the actual distance between the words, or the width of the space, if you like. Now, I prepared this text earlier just to show you this in this lesson. And if I select this text, you can see it's in a text box. So the first thing you can do is you can adjust this visually by clicking on the Node Edit tool up here and coming down and selecting on this down tool, which drags out the line spacing. As you can see, it's now spaced quite a bit further apart, or I can push it up and I can push the lines much closer together. This is a visual way of doing this. If you want to do it a little bit more specifically or numerically, what you can do is you can go in text mode and you can go up to this tool up here and click on this fly down or drop down, and you'll see here it's set to 133%. Now if I set that to 100% and click enter, you can see that it goes back to the standard way it was. But if I click here and I now expand this to say 105, 110, etc. percent, at 150% it's 1.5 line spacing, and obviously at 200% if I type that in, it's 2 times line spacing or double line spacing. So you can set your line spacing in this particular control here, numerically or using the up and down arrows. That's line spacing. But that applies to all the lines individually and equally. Now if you wanted to space the lines individually, in other words, make a greater space between these two lines and these two lines, you'd have to do that manually. You can do that by converting the text to artistic text from a paragraph or text box text. Now to do that's quite easy. All you do is you can go up to this control here and you can go down convert to artistic text. Alternatively, and in the program you'll find a lot of right click menus. You can right click and you can go down to convert to artistic text. And now this is artistic text. So that means that it doesn't behave like it does in a text box. So you can go back to the Node Edit tool up here and click on that, and then you can slide these down to individually adjust the actual lines of text. So you can make this line much wider than say this one. I mean, you can actually overlap lines if you wanted to. Obviously this all depends on the artwork you've got and what the project is and what your client wants. But there you go, you can select the text or the lines of text individually, move them up and down and set all that. Now if I just delete that out, and I'll just draw another text box here and draw this out, and I'll just go Control V because I've got text on the clipboard. Now we're going to talk about word spacing. That is the space between the words. Now again, you've got this tool up here, and if we go up here and we look at word spacing, this is this one here, word spacing, we might set this at say 105%, and you can see how it's slightly moved it out. Now to get a more dramatic view of that, we'll then drag it out even further. And as you can see, the spaces, not the kerning and not the tracking, but the actual spaces between the words here are actually increasing. At the moment 250%. Okay, so we've got much bigger spaces evenly throughout the entire text, which you can use to slightly adjust and to fit text to fit into a text box more evenly. And it depends too. Some fonts you'll find that the actual space key is a lot wider or far too narrow and you're not happy with it, so you can adjust the word spacing. So that's line and word spacing.